crazy party last night. As I was watching smiling friends, kicking my feet and wiggling my toes, a thought occurred to me. My favorite Smiling Friends girly by far is the one-off character of Brittany, the daughter of Satan. But we usually don't get this level of pure camp from the ladies of Smiling Friends. Most of the time we have regular schmegular girls falling in love with the most disgusting creatures, and I thought, what would it be like if we had a girl on the main cast? Then, someone sent me this viral tweet. Smiling Friends but with girl leads already exists. It's made by one of the same creators. It's over now because you all ignored it. Very accusatory? I never even heard about it till now. How could I purposely ignore something I didn't even know existed? Damn, but you know what? Let's watch the show and discuss. Just don't act like it's my fault.
You're videotaping the show. I do.
Butt lovers, welcome. I watched every single episode of YOLO, and although I can't help but break down and overanalyze any piece of media I watch, this show is way too fast-paced to even attempt to summarize episode by episode. So instead, I'm going to try and capture the vibe, character archetypes, and break down important episodes and themes. One thing to note, there are 3 different names for each of the seasons. Season 1 is YOLO Crystal Fantasy, which aired in 2020. Season 2 is YOLO Silver Destiny, which aired in 2023. And the third and final season is YOLO Rainbow Trinity, which aired this year, 2025. 3 years between the first 2 seasons, 2 years between the last 2 seasons, 5 years to air all 24 episodes. I know Adult Swim is known for their who gives a fuck energy, but this schedule is so bizarre, and probably made people's interest wane. Both the first episode of Smiling Friends and the first episode of YOLO aired April 1st, 2020. But Smiling Friends' schedule really didn't suffer all that much. Sure, the first season was released 2 years after that initial April Fool's pilot drop, but after that, it was pretty consistent, with much more fanfare. Pop-up Smiling Friends offices, a booth at New York Comic-Con, which I went to.
Wow.
I mean, it's already been picked up for 2 more seasons. Why wasn't YOLO met with the same reception? Let's find out. But first, a word from our sponsor. Here I am, trapped in my own head again. I hate it here. Has this happened to you? You throw on your favorite old Cartoon Network show, getting ready to unwind and take a break from all the hustle bustle, and then bam, you're hit with unwanted, distressing thoughts like, what if I lose control and do something horrible right now? And even though you would literally never want that or do that, your brain just latches onto that thought and will not let go. So now you're in tears, figuring out if it's true or not, avoiding situations where the imaginary situation will happen. You're constantly overanalyzing your thoughts, looking for proof that you're not a good person. But the more you try and make this anxiety disappear, the worse it gets. It's exhausting. That is what OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, actually is. Those stereotypes about liking things organized, yeah, that's not always how it manifests. For the longest time, I didn't think I had OCD because I'm a very unorganized person. OCD can focus on absolutely anything. Your relationships, your health, your morality. It oftentimes latches on to the things that we care about most, which can make it even more terrifying. And because OCD is so misunderstood, a lot of people suffer for years before even realizing what's happening or getting help. But here's the thing, OCD is extremely treatable with the right type of therapy. And that isn't standard talk therapy. That's where NoCD comes in. NoCD is the world's leading OCD treatment provider, and all of their therapists specialize in OCD and a type of therapy called ERP, Exposure and Response Prevention, which is the most effective treatment for OCD. NoCD offers live, face-to-face virtual therapy sessions that are covered by insurance of over 138 million Americans, and they provide support between sessions so you're never facing OCD alone. A YouTuber promoting a mental health service? No. Trust me, I was skeptical at first too. I highly suggest you watch a lot of their resources they have up on their public YouTube page. It destigmatizes it so much, I feel so seen. If any of what I described sounds familiar, visit nocd.com to book a free 15-minute call with their team. That's nocd.com. Thank you so much to NoCD for sponsoring this video and for your wonderful services. Now back to YOLO Crystal Fantasy. The best way I can describe the first episode is Smiling Friends meets regular show. Oh, you're comparing two workplace comedies. Are these girls co-workers? No, not at all. I believe they are the most unemployed you could possibly be. Rachel and Sarah are two different flavors of girl failure. What the fuck did you just say? Girl failure? Yes, this chronically online phrase acts as a stark contrast to the similarly painfully online phrase, girl boss.
Try and keep up, mate.
Sarah, the brunette, is way more of an everyman type, going along for the ride, trying to feel anything resembling happiness. She lives with her parents, these comically large creatures that are almost always sitting but loom over her. Even though Sarah is in her 20s, she clearly still feels like a kid, asking her parents for permission to party. If you don't know the acronym, like my sister had no idea what YOLO stood for, it means you only live once. And although it's beyond outdated, I see why this mantra is the title. Back in 2011, people would use YOLO as a way to dismiss their worries about making bad decisions. You only live once pretty much translates to, fuck it, let's party. And every episode of this show follows these girls partying. Does my makeup make sense now? No! Rachel, the blonde, has the mannerisms of a pre-Starla muscle man from regular show. Very loud, very rude. She's not an airhead. She's not trying to get laid. She's not the early 2000s stereotype of the blonde. Quite the opposite. She is barbaric. She lives in this fucking landfill and she crawls out into the sunlight like she hasn't seen it in at least a good month. I love it. I've never seen another character quite like her. The closest I can think of is Sam Puckett from iCarly. We've never seen Rachel's family or her childhood, but we can assume from the way that she is that there was some serious neglect there, especially with how codependent she is on Sarah for everything. It reminds me of what I said in my Exploding Kittens video. Play the clip. This is a weird comparison, but he is Kimmy Gibbler from Full House to a T. They are both the annoying friends that all the adults shit on, even though their obnoxious outbursts are clear cries for help. Did someone miss me? Oh my god, Kimmy, fuck off. Alright, I just wanted to update you that my mom is in jail again. Probably for birthing a good-for-nothing pathetic loser like you. Don't let my, quite frankly, impressive level of empathy fool you. Rachel is a monster. In the very first episode, they're going to Madison's birthday party. Oh, you're telling me you've never heard of the Madison?
The one and only Madison, the beautiful, with over 2,000 followers.
So this whole party is for someone Rachel hasn't seen since high school, and the only reason she's going is for a selfie with her that she has to risk her life for. Boys like paper clips and cheese, and girls like selfies and meat. What else is there to say?
I want that meat tray.
Let's go.
Rachel drags Sarah along as a +1, even though she knows they'll be separated and +1s are treated as slaves. Rachel ditching Sarah is ongoing. But before we get into that, why'd I compare it to regular show? Mostly for the toxic stoner buddy comedy vibes.
I'll kill you!
But not only that, listen to the ending of this first episode. Rachel posting that fugly picture of Madison caused her to turn into a black hole, destroying this giant tower. This cosmic escalation is not uncommon for Smiling Friends, but for whatever reason the execution is way more regular show-ish. Do you see what I mean? I don't know. Rachel less than half-heartedly apologizes.
So, I'm sorry that I didn't really care about you being a +1 or being dragged away by demons or whatever. So, yeah, whatever. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
This is barely a quarter-hearted sorry. And the moment Sarah starts talking about her feelings, Rachel tells her to shut up, and then they hold hands and fly away. Is this toxic Yuri? This show, much like its more popular brother, has my fried attention span by the balls. The random rotoscope, the energy going from 0 to 100 in about a second, and how much they're able to fit in a mere 10 minutes. It makes 10 minutes feel like 5, but if I were to explain everything that happened in those 10 minutes, it would take me 20. How? It is also so distinct. One ongoing joke that I love are the jingles for absolutely everything that happens. I do that. I feel so seen. This show is also 100,000 times more Australian. They have a kangaroo Uber called Aruba. The Aruba has its own jingle. Another joke I used to like before the second and third seasons is Sarah's dad getting absolutely exasperated every time she doesn't take his suggestion.
You should borrow my TomTom GPS. Works perfectly fine. Just bought it off eBay too.
No, it's okay. We can just use our phone.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yep. I won't suggest anything else anymore. I won't suggest anything else. You girls have fun. You girls have fun. Just leave. I was just trying to help, but I get
Wait,
He's such a baby about it. And then the perfect subversion is in the season 1 finale when she finally does take his advice. He's still throwing a fit. His dent head design reminds me of this soy jack, which is most likely intentional. This show knows the demographic of people it appeals to, and doesn't shy away from being obnoxiously internet-pilled. Speaking of internet, let's take a look at the 2012 pilot YouTube videos.
We're gonna get fucking drugged! I'm gonna get so fucking drugged!
That was the longest 5 minutes of my life. Everything I praised about the Adult Swim show, flip it and reverse it for these fucking YouTube videos. I'm gonna vomit. That was awful.
Oh, Jesus. Gross.
Yeah, dude, I guess I'm not cool. I guess I can't hang. How do I describe that? What words capture the vile fuck shit I just witnessed? No, literally. Fuck. Shit.
You what?
I don't want your curiosity to pique, so let me just spell this out. This muscly guy crawls in her butt and literally has intercourse with her crap. I cannot believe this accumulated over 10 million views. I hate it here. Oh yeah, and in the highly anticipated sequel, some other guy who finishes going down under on the blonde proceeds to have the muscle guy rip through his body because remember, he was in her ass. What a clever callback. I know even now I'll have comments defending it. No, you see, it purposely goes too far to show the dangers of the you only live once philosophy. You stupid girl. That'll be one side. And the other side will be like, oh, you party pooper, it's called comedy. Is comedy illegal now? No, guys, I love comedy. It's just, wait, did you say party pooper? Oh, I'm thinking about the scene again. Just last week, we talked about how close horror and comedy are to each other. And even though this is the perfect case study for that, I'm just so mad. I hate early internet shock-out humor. It appeals to people I hope to never encounter, quite frankly, and, respectfully, fuck you. Worldwide. This show is so wild, the setting of Australia alone doesn't even cut it. In season 1's A Very Extremely Very YOLO Christmas Reloaded, Sarah is sent on a cruise to collect her Nan's inheritance. Quick translation, Nan is Australian for grandmother. Nan first appears as a ghost, so I thought, wait, is she already dead? No, that makes too much sense, dumbass. When Sarah and Rachel arrive on the cruise, Nan immediately explodes. Sarah acts really sad, saying she can't dance right now. She needs a moment of introspection. But the only thing she starts thinking about is crock cock.
Hey, yo!
Yeah, the one thing they kept about Sarah from the disgusting YouTube videos is that she's a bit of a monster fucker. But unlike the YouTube videos, she doesn't toss the normal, regular, schmegular, boring guys aside for the monsters. In the full-blown show, both are her type. Either the most normal guy imaginable that's probably an accountant named Phil, or whatever the fuck this is. The crocodile Sarah is in love with destroys the cruise and kills so many people, so you'd think she'd move on, right? No, Sarah is in fact not the normal one in the group. She is so desperate for love that even after witnessing this Godzilla-level carnage, She is still convinced this crocodile is the one. Meanwhile, Rachel is trying to get Sarah's inheritance. We wash up on the beach with these adorable shaped creatures. This circular one named Henry looks like the Smiling Friends building. And Rachel, of all people, is very maternal towards him. It was probably the most wholesome thing to come out of this show. It amused me quite a lot. Like, yes, Rachel is trying to rob one of her best friends, but maybe she is capable of love. Maybe. The episode Terry Cup reminds me of that one Rick and Morty episode with the floating heads. Show me what you got. This floating head named Terry hosts, I guess, a talent show, but if he doesn't like the talent, instant death. Dude, it's exactly the same as that one Rick and Morty episode. Oh my god. Rachel is a gambler, which totally fits her character, but the stakes are super high. She only has 1 hour to pay off her unreasonably large debt. This episode was one of the funniest for sure. This live-action drug and breakup-induced dance sequence floored me. Planet Horoscope was my favorite planet. Pretty much whatever happens to the embodiment of your astrological sign happens to you. Sarah ends up here completely on accident on her way to a solo vacation. Yep, she finally left Rachel. Sarah meets her sign Capricorn, and Capricorn is a loser, an absolute defeatist. Sarah is determined to uplift Capricorn so that good things can happen for her too. Capricorn gets new hair, she approaches her crush Aquarius, and immediately slips and falls and slams her head on every table. It reminds me of this fan-made video of Alan. The entire party laughs at her, including her crush Aquarius. He's literally pointing and laughing, but then they start dating because... I'm sorry, I just have to show you this scene.
Wait, you're into marbles? Yes? So... Oh, Jesus, this is weird. So am I.
Shakespeare is not dead. Are you kidding me? After Capricorn and Aquarius start dating, Capricorn ditches Sarah, saying she's toxic for only using her to make her own life better. And while she's not wrong, Capricorn is doing the exact same thing, which... fits how these horoscopes work, I guess. Even though Sarah is even more of a pushover than Pim is, she is nowhere near as sunshiny and optimistic. Throughout the series, Rachel abandons her time and time again, and Sarah comes to the conclusion that Rachel is toxic. But here's what stuck out to me about Sarah. She doesn't view Rachel through rose-colored glasses. She isn't hoping her friend will change. She isn't even annoyed when it happens. She just sighs. All defeated. The funny thing is, Rachel, who's the one doing most of the backstabbery, thinks they'll be friends forever. Meanwhile, Sarah, who is way too forgiving, definitely views their friendship as temporary. Sarah is looking for true love and a real passion that'll whisk her away from Rachel. Their actions and feelings directly contradict. And I think that's why in Planet Horoscope, Rachel gets the wrong idea of where their friendship is heading.
Being away from you made me realize how much I appreciate you. Friends?
Best friends.
1, 2, 3. I want Yuri.
Sorry.
They never address that. Also, pay no attention to who I'm blocking. We're gonna pretend he doesn't exist until I can't anymore. Anyway, back to analyzing the girlies. I think it's pretty obvious these suppressed feelings are why Rachel is so hostile towards whoever Sarah's going out with. Rachel needs to keep Sarah down so Sarah can stay with her forever. Oh no. In the season 1 finale, during the title card, we hear a very Alan-like voice.
The finale.
When Rachel goes to take a drunken piss in the woods, she slips into Bush World, and luckily, I'm not talking George.
Now watch this drive.
In this world, time moves a lot slower. Sarah is traumatized at Rachel's disappearance. We begin to see how much time has passed. 2 weeks doesn't faze me. 3 weeks and a funeral, sure.
You with my everything. World's up, man.
At 4 weeks, Sarah meets this stranger on a bus, and they have an instant connection. Everything comes so easily to Sarah without Rachel's influence. As Sarah and this guy are on a date, making painfully cute, cringe small talk, I keep waiting for the ball to drop, but it never did. Peter is just a genuinely nice, regular schmegular guy. On this date, Sarah shares that she feels like she didn't share anything sentimental with her best friend of 10 years, but she already feels like her and Peter have something more substantial after less than an hour. Sarah's main character complex is astounding. And listen, I do get it. During huge life events, you make discoveries about yourself, but the truly parasitic relationship these two girls have built up so much resentment. And they have no one to blame but themselves, because you could always just not be friends with a person. The first instance of the time cards really catching me off guard and having me gagged was this one immediately after their first date. 2 years after Rachel's disappearance, Sarah and Peter are getting married. I thought, oh wow, they're really committing, but I didn't know the half of it. We cut to 6 years later. Sarah and Peter are very comfortable living together and being cringe together, and I'm not sure if you need to hear this, but that is the goal. To be so comfortable with someone you can say lol out loud or embrace whatever else is wrong with you.
Lol, little chubby thing.
Hey, stop it.
We cut to it 9 years after Rachel's disappearance. Sarah is living Taylor Swift's suburban dream. A kid, a dog, her man barbecuing. Caffeinated baddies just wouldn't understand. It takes this long in Earth years for Rachel to return Sarah's 10,000 missed calls. When Sarah realizes her old friend is alive and has been partying the whole time, she tells Rachel to never call her again. This was also after Rachel dismisses everything her heartbroken friend has said. I don't blame Sarah one bit. This is, dare I say, the only true character development in the series. But Rachel is devastated at her friend Sarah growing a backbone and setting a clear boundary, so Rachel instantly kills the vibe of this party, screaming incoherently into the karaoke mic. We've all been there.
Who's we?
This is so like Rachel. She will destroy anything in a fit of rage, sadness, or even just boredom. Part 2 of the season finale opens 14 years after Rachel's disappearance. Everything seems to be going well for Peter and Sarah. Peter gets a promotion at his job, they share a sweet kiss. They're about to have tea. He passes out on a glass table and passes away. In the hospital, cause of death unknown.
Stinky.
Shit. I guess you only live once. Sarah's mourning. What do people in mourning do? Pottery. I actually really want to get into pottery, but it feels illegal to get into this hobby while happy. Also, I haven't even addressed the one naked old lady in the pottery class. I wish we saw more of her. Not like that. I mean as a character, not like... Shut the fuck up.
Naked grandma!
Let's rewind back to Sarah in the hospital. Her husband just died. Rachel calls her again to tell her off. It's only been a couple of seconds for her. Everything Sarah is saying is going in one ear, out the other, until Sarah once again says, "Don't call me." To avoid feeling any feelings, Rachel thrashes. She is trying to party with no one around. A truly pathetic spectacle. Wait, actually, there is only one person around. This naked old man with uncomfortably pointy nips. I avoided talking about him because I don't like looking at him. You know what? I kind of ship the naked old man with the naked old lady. I feel like they have a lot in common. They're both, naked. And they both love art. Yeah, so this old guy is actually the one who painted the world they're currently in. He has god-level powers, but really all he wanted is community. So when they go to this chicken fast food place, old naked guy is hired. And the boss tells off Rachel for all the elder abuse. The painter announces that he's reached enlightenment before turning completely blue. I'm blue and I'm a bee-baba bow. Wait, how does that song go? Blue... Okay. Forget that. Forget I did that. These moments of pure clarity and life-changing realizations tend to happen frequently for these one-off background characters. You know how in Smiling Friends they play this little ding as their clients smile? This is the opposite of that. It isn't a job well done for these girls seeing other people win. It's just a reminder of how in their own way they are. This happens way more frequently next season. Wait, yeah, there's 2 more seasons. How? For half a second, I thought Rachel would be a generational curse, passed on to Sarah's daughter, once she's back in the picture, but no. Sarah fully fucking dies. Looking back fondly on their friendship, and after Rachel feels just a shred of remorse, this space goddess gives Rachel a complete redo. That's right, this whole Sarah timeline we just witnessed has either been completely undone, or we're just in an alternate timeline now where none of that happens and none of that will ever happen. Sorry for the constant comparisons, it's just how my brain processes things. This felt very Rick and Morty. It was, dare I say, a bit mean-spirited. We saw a whole different life, all the way till the end, just to start again. YOLO? Apparently not. Second season should have been called YOLT. You only live twice. Rachel has to admit she loves Sarah. This is not only a big deal because of how emotionally pent up she is, but also the type of love is very obvious in the way she views Sarah, surrounded by sparkles as if she's Rachel's angel. When Rachel says I love you to Sarah, it's definitely a romantic love that she feels. Whereas Sarah is able to say it easier because it means a lot less to her. Not that friendship love is inherently less, but in their eyes it is. Rachel grabs Sarah's hands as they walk into the distance. A visual that seems like it's a happily ever after, even though it's quite the opposite. Sarah doesn't even know what she's missing out on, but we do.
YOLO Silver Destiny, Episode 1, same show, different name or some shit.
The Season 2 premiere continues to explore Sarah's need for community and external validation. After being scolded by her old nun principal, Sarah once again feels shame over her direction in life and for being associated with her best friend Rachel. Then Sarah finds new purpose in life through, of course, say it with me, a hippy-dippy vegan backyard cult. Rachel accidentally kills their god, so they're kicked out, but Sarah still obtained her new power of gardening. And Rachel, seeing her worst possible timeline, actually strives for that. She does want to be a dictator. The first mention of Sarah's sister was in the Season 1 Christmas episode.
Sarah, your sister sends her love.
But now we finally meet her in the episode Planet Bali. Sister Sharon is marrying Pelican, who I did not think we'd see again. In Bush Doof, he was desperate for friends. Truly, there is not a single character who doesn't reek of desperation, and Sharon is no exception. She tries so hard to impress her judgmental, terrible bully bridesmaids, to the point where she lashes out at her new husband, Pelican. She traps her wedding guests in a photo, and she's miserable. Her fake friendship with these bridesmaids dictates her life as much as Rachel dictates Sarah's. Pelican finally resonates with his wife Sharon, and this unlocks nice Sharon. These instantaneous revelations, as I already said, points out the absurdity of how insistent we are to get in our own way all the time. So yeah, in about a second, Sharon turns nice. Good for her. Also, fair warning, a lot of puke in this episode. I still challenge any of you to find me an adult animation that doesn't feature a puke episode. Bet you can't. It's so prevalent for no reason. In the very next episode, Garden Sarah realizes she wants to catch up with high school friends, so she throws a little party, and everyone from high school confirms that they distanced themselves because of her friendship with Rachel. No one likes Rachel, and the resentment continues to fester as Sarah continues to take no accountability for decisions she makes as a 20-something-year-old woman who can stop being friends with anybody she wants at any time. They also randomly have an Easter egg to those disgusting YouTube videos, because to the real fans who stuck around, we get to see Stacy, this character with red hair and glasses, who's done nothing wrong other than have a good life. She is the bane of Rachel's existence, then and now.
Hey guys!
Hi, Stacy. How are you?
I love humor that plays on pettiness, but please, for the love of God, never remind me of those videos ever again. This has to be the last time I mention the YouTube pilot, for my own good. Also, in this high school reunion episode, Sarah witnesses this random guy's character development level up right before her eyes. Hanging out with the bully like Rachel made this guy gain empathy, and now he no longer wants to be a little troll. Sarah yells after him, "How did you do that?" But as we've already said time and time again, if you want to change, the only person who could make that change is you. Shays in the City was a really strong episode. Sarah has a black and white artsy-fartsy dream where she gets to go out with her dream guy, Timothy Chalamet. way. I love how Tim Burton-y they made him. Very accurate. Some people hate pop culture references. I don't mind them as long as I understand them. Don't make me feel left out. I will say it's a bit more of a risk to make pop culture references because it does date the show, but I mean, it's already called YOLO, so I fear the timelessness ship has sailed. This exploration into Sarah's head truly shows how low her self-esteem is. Even her dream guy treats her like shit. But the one little guy looking out for her is the guy controlling her dreams. Because after Rachel crawls into Sarah's head through her ear, much like Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared's brainworm interrupting escapism, the guy controlling her dreams tries to make a deal with Rachel, saying if the dream ends with Sarah getting a kiss, Rachel has to leave Sarah alone forever. Rachel doesn't take anything seriously and she's a gambler, so of course she accepts and plops down to watch her friend's dream like it's a movie, heckling the entire time.
Jesus, what a dickhead!
The guy who controls the dream shares why he doesn't want Sarah to be friends with Rachel anymore. This is the first time Sarah has dreamed in a long time because Sarah doesn't sleep because she's too busy partying with Rachel. I don't know if you know this, but sleep is important. Rachel is not only emotionally destroying Sarah, but she's also physically destroying Sarah. In the end, Rachel ruins the dream by jumping into it, and Sarah's subconscious views Rachel as a crying baby she'll have to take care of forever. Now, is that what Rachel wants to be to Sarah? Of course not. She wants to lead an army, and in the vision, she had a skull in her hand. So in the episode Jamboree, after the two time travel, Rachel hangs out with this Mega Bilby for his skull. But Mega Bilby, this prehistoric creature, is probably the only person that truly understands Rachel. He likes that she's batshit mental and even eggs her on. Their love language is daring each other. And every time he affectionately calls her a crazy bitch, her heart grows. Much like Sarah's alternate timeline husband, this guy dies right in front of Rachel. In fact, Mega Bilby loses his head as they travel back to the present. They were making out 1 second, and then the next second his decapitated head is in her hands.
Real brutal.
The first time Rachel has openly loved unapologetically, this is what it led to. Rachel's heart explodes, and any shred of humanity she had is now gone. You'll see how full feral she goes in the finale. It's hard to watch. All you have to know about the penultimate episode of season 2, Journey to the Chasm of the Bees, is that Sarah gets a taste of the power Rachel wishes to have. She's the queen of the bees, and while on drugs, she keeps sending people to the guillotine, which she calls the guillotine. She even tells this one other bee that only she can talk shit about Rachel. And the moment Rachel and Lucas come to save her, she sends them to the guillotine. Dude, I always mispronounce shit like that. Very occasionally and quickly, this show holds a mirror up to me, and I have to go, Nor, start. I don't want to star that. That was my actual attempt at an Australian accent. The season finale was so disappointing. I mean, it was an interesting look at Rachel's deteriorating mental state. Like, if you didn't think she could be even more of a hot mess, you were seriously underestimating this show. Rachel is now playing out a sitcom fantasy, laugh track and all, where her husband is this skull mounted on a pile of trash that she puppets around. Sometimes we see her actual hand puppeting the skull. Sometimes it moves on its own? ? I think this is truly just what she sees. I don't think it's actually doing that, but who's to say? Even in her ideal life with this dead man, he cheats on her, and she forgives him. She even has this cursed pillow baby. So remember how we saw Sarah's perfect life at the end of season 1? Unfortunately, I think this is Rachel's version. This is her version of a normal life. That's actually really sad. Without Sarah, this is as good as it's gonna get for Rachel. Sarah's storyline in the finale goes completely off the rails in a way that really pisses me off. They built up Sarah's garden this entire season. She was really consistent with it. She's so proud of her garden. So naturally, the conclusion is that this selfie of her in her garden goes super ultra viral and now she's famous. The only thing I enjoy about this is that Sarah effortlessly stumbled into what Rachel wanted from the beginning, a following. But where does it go? Nowhere. The moment these elites realized that Sarah was being sincere and she wasn't posting satire, they wanna kill her. Calling out the world for appreciating snarkiness over sincerity is not a stance I thought the show would take, but go off, I guess. Rachel continuously compares her dead husband to her ex-best friend, Sarah. You would never abandon me, Mega Bilby Skull. You're gonna stay with me forever, not like Sarah.
And I will never ever leave or betray you or grow a stupid garden.
And we even get a callback to the previous episode.
I'm the only one who can talk shit about her.
Oi, only I'm allowed to talk shit about it.
They're codependent!
That they are, because guess what? Rachel sacrifices her husband to save Sarah. Since they were really leaning into the continuity this season, I was expecting a better conclusion for this overarching story, but personally, I think they peaked season 1. I also hated the parents episode this season, holy shit. With so few episodes, it is ambitious to focus on other characters, and the parents ended up really pissing me off. The more we saw of them, the less funny they got. And I guess Sarah's garden died because we never see it again season 3. Also known as the worst season. There is a lot less going on this season in terms of overarching story. They definitely returned to the more episodic format, and anything resembling a shit that they gave before has been properly flushed, because just look at these episode names. Hi, what you doing? Nothing much, you. That's good. Haha, what you up to? Nothing much, haha. Sim. Or fight. Battle of Bubblegum Park, roar. Ew. Our lovely, jubbly, wubbly, bubbly, zubbly, lovely, bubbly, wubbly, Tasmania. I don't even know how to read that. So a bunch of symbols, love heart, fun times at the Festy Gong Fest. Woo! You'll always be under my umbrella. Okay, let's talk about some of my favorite episodes before I put a real damper on things. I only really liked 3 out of 8 episodes this season. That is not a passing grade, damn. In episode 3, all about Pelican Splurth Day, we met this gang made up of a bunch of random normal-looking human dudes with this one character that looks straight out of the Cuphead show. Only one survives, and his final form is this furry. It positively tickled me. Also, we see Pelican and his crystal cousins fuse, and they're made of love? Rebecca Sugar's gonna sue your ass. In episode 5, we have an influencer character voiced by Emma Chamberlain. And honestly, she killed it. The character was funny as shit, and the more annoyed Rachel got, the funnier the gag became. And then finally, episode 6. All I have in my notes here is, why are the Tasmanians in the overhated corporate Memphis aesthetic? And I googled like hell to find the name of this style, only for it to be name dropped right at the end of the episode. I hate it here. In this season, the girls definitely enjoyed each other's company more, with no trace of animosity towards each other. I love a happy ending, but I actually don't at all. Because why is so much of the story taken up by fedora-wearing, neckbeard-having, nice guys finish last, Lucas?
I don't want to come across like a woke asshole, but like, women have it hard.
I get what they're going for. The comedy is derived from the absurdity of these people, how awful they are. We're supposed to be laughing at these entitled guys who are only friends with women to be with them to an obsessive and creepy degree. I get it. I get it. I was just waiting for this arc to finish, and it never did. Lucas was a character you just couldn't avoid, and a lot of the time, the one good thing I will say is I like that the girls, for the most part, were completely unaware of it. They were kind of unbothered by it, but I mean, he was stalking Sarah. Literally watching her as she slept, stealing a lock of her hair, trying to make a love potion to force her to be in love with him, and nothing came of it. There was no consequences. Like, I thought at the very least it would be satisfying to see him get his comeuppance, but that didn't even happen. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the style of comedy that's like, oh, look at how many creeps there are in the world. Haha. Yeah, we know. Can we move on? And this was even worse with how they started to write Sarah's dad, because randomly during the season finale of season 2, he just started like being a predator towards his own daughter. It didn't land for me. It wasn't funny. And this is a problem that Smiling Friends has too. The gag at the end of the latest episode with the witch where the husband is holding her and she's crying and he's like, oh, so you're gonna suck it? Like, I get the humor. It's like, oh God, these guys suck. But can we have one guy that doesn't suck, specifically in YOLO? Because the one guy that didn't suck was Pelican. And then all of a sudden, he's making out with his cousins and he's cheating on his wife at the Santa pub crawl. Like, he's literally cheating on Sarah's sister right in front of Sarah and the parents, and nobody calls him out. Pelican was the only good guy in this entire show, and they ruined that too. The season 3 finale was also absolute ass cheeks in a bad way, if you need me to clarify. They took a bit I enjoyed, them making up songs for everything, and decided to have a whole musical episode, and it just didn't land. The joke turned sour for me pretty quickly, as this was the series finale, and it didn't focus on the girlies at all. The last beat of this entire show is them staring into the camera with blank expressions as everyone else sings and dances around them. It's definitely very manic, it's chaotic, it's silly, but it's the last episode and it felt like a huge middle finger to the few people still watching. Second, and most importantly, YOLO is a stupid name. I'm sorry, I think the name of the show hurt people's chances of giving it a chance more than anything else. If you look at other shows that are popular, it's always pretty simple for the most part. Smiling Friends, Family Guy, Bob's Burgers. Like, YOLO is a swing and a miss, and once you watch it, you understand why it's called that, but it's still, I just think it puts a bad taste in people's mouth. I hate to say this as a major critique for why people aren't giving it a chance, because I don't want to appearance shame my girlies, but there is nothing eye-catching about them. With how Australian the show is, 2 human girls, I don't know. When you look at Smiling Friends, all of them are so distinct. You look at these 2, they're not distinct. Make them wallabies, make them kangaroos, make them koalas, I don't know. The creator of this show also made Koala Man, which I also should probably take a look at, but that tweet led me to believe this was in the same caliber as Smiling Friends, and as much as I enjoyed a lot of the episodes, it's not as good as Smiling Friends. It's a good show, but I do see why it didn't catch on. Hello, it's Editing Athena. I feel like I forgot to address why I think it's weaker, because I kind of addressed why it was harder for people to get into the show, but now I want to address the problems for the people that have already gotten into the show, other than the women have it hard comedy. Hey, pay no attention to the Great Wolf Lodge animatronic in the back. That's not important for now. For now. We'll address it, trust me. So I feel like I kind of touched on this earlier in the video, but the humor is less optimistic than Smiling Friends, if that makes sense. I feel like Smiling Friends, there's a sense of camaraderie and friendship that keeps it light, even while characters' noses are being ripped off. Like, trust me, some fuck shit happens in Smiling Friends for sure, but I feel like YOLO, it's a lot more rage baity. It's a lot more like they're dangling a storyline in front of your face, and then they're like, but they're besties. Don't you love that they're besties? And you're like, well, it doesn't seem earned. It's like, no, well, it's not supposed to. It's chaotic. And it's like, well, you made an overarching storyline for what? That's the other thing. I think it's both a strength and a weakness that they really committed to that season 2 overarching story, because I thought it was fun. But having this sort of continuity, it prevents people from just jumping in the middle. I feel like if people were still watching cable, they might tune into that chaotic season 2 finale and be like, what is going on in this show? I need to rewind. But in the age of streaming where everything's bingeable, I feel like something episodic could be clipped more. It could be more approachable for people. I'm so distracted. The reason why I keep directly comparing it to Smiling Friends is because the tweet that got me into it referred to it as Smiling Friends with girl leads, and I don't think that actually is the case. By the end, it's clear the direction was getting muddied, and they didn't care to really hone in on the strengths because they knew it was ending anyway. So those are just some more thoughts. I didn't want to leave it at, oh, well, I like Smiling Friends better. I wanted to kind of elaborate why I like Smiling Friends a bit better. And again, that's not to say I didn't enjoy YOLO. I did. I see why it's over. I do. If you disagree with me, please leave it in a comment. Say bye to him for now. Butt lovers, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe. I'm not sure if you noticed, but I'm wearing level 1000 wizard merch where you can be a tatted up wizard. Look at the little chibi Athenas. I love it. I love it so much. I also brought back the titular bitchular design, but it doesn't have glitter. I was listening to y'all, and some of you guys don't like that sensation, so it's just printed on much like this. We also have stickers. We also have Explore. I love this tee. I put little doodles on the loose leaf paper like you're looking into my lore notebook. I love it. I appreciate you all more than I could say. Either today when I post this or tomorrow, there's gonna be a pretty big second channel video. Cause spoiler alert, I got the fucking Great Wolf Lodge animatronic. Have a great day, butt lovers. I demand it. Bye!